we all know that we are in an era of globalization, and time will not change, so we have to adapt to that situation. But I think the challenges of the previous decades, like the pandemic, like the economic crisis, like the migration crisis, what we are also facing in Hungary, they prove that the nation as a concept is the only form which can serve the interest of the citizens and of the community who are living under the rule of this nation.
I'm Dave Rubin. This is the Rubin Report from the local studio right here in Miami. And joining me today is the political director for the Prime Minister of Hungary, Balázs Orbán. Welcome to the Rubin Report.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me.
I am glad to have you here, a freedom fighter from across the way here in America in the free state of Florida. I was trying to think how I wanted to do this interview because I will be very honest up top. I don't think Americans know much, if anything, about Hungary, and I am not going to pretend to be a Hungary expert. So I thought the best way we could start this was a little Hungary 101. If I say to you, tell me about Hungary, what does that mean to you?
I think all the people of United States and Florida would love Hungary because it's a small but old Central European country with 1,000 years old history. As you were referred, we are known in Europe as freedom fighters because our history is about constant fight for sovereignty. We were several times occupied by foreigners like the Ottomans, like the Habsburgs or the Austrians, like the Nazi Germans and the Russians, and what we survived. And right now we are proud members of the European Union and the Western community. But we have our own values, and we are very proud of our nationhood, our country, our traditions, and that's the reason, I think, why we became part of the international debate, at least inside the Western civilization, about the future of this civilization. Which direction should we go, and if there is a dead-end street or not.
So interestingly, the guy that connected us was my good friend Pete Boghossian, who has been on this show many, many times, who you've met a few times now. And he's in Hungary right now. And he is or at least was for most of his life, a lefty atheist, but in search of freedom, in search of places where order exists and Western values exist. And he lives in Portland, where he's struggling to find it there. Yeah. Goes to Budapest, and he's finding it in Hungary. That's interesting.
He is a great guy, and you know, it's currently we at least those who are working for the Hungarian government and Prime Minister Orbán, we are conservatives, we are Christian Democrats, we are obviously representing the political right side, out of question. But according to our understanding, it means freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of thinking, freedom of expression, and we have to preserve, protect pluralism in our society. So if Peter is there and he speaks openly about his views, we can argue, we can debate with him. Actually, we are organizing debates to show that these are the alternatives. Let the people choose. And what he keeps telling to us, that it was the case in United States, it was the case in some other Western European countries, but currently this is not the case anymore. Leftist ideology is just it wants to control everything. They want 100% power, not separation of power. So we small Central European conservatives, we are trying to manage a political refugee program for people like Peter Boghossian and some others.
And interestingly, most of my audience will get it. You then are called all of the worst things, right? You're a fascist and a bigot and all right. I should mention that although your last name is Orbán, you are not related to the Prime Minister,
No.
Viktor Orbán,
No.
correct?
And
That must get very messy.
No, and
for
it's
you all
not the
time.
case that you have to change your name to Orbán if you want to go to politics in Hungary.
Yeah. So okay, so you talked about the values of Hungary. So so what do you think those values are? I have a sense from the way you described it, but what broadly do you think those values are?
I just came from the conference of national conservativism. I think this is a movement which is an intellectual movement which is very close to our thinking, and the basic pillar of this movement is the idea of nation. So we all know that we are in an era of globalization, and time will not change. So we have to adapt to that situation. But I think the challenges of the previous decades, like the pandemic, like the economic crisis, like the migration crisis, what we are also facing in Hungary, they prove that the nation as a concept is the only form which can serve the interest of the citizens and of the community who are living under the rule of this nation. So everybody is talking about globalized cooperation or international organizations, but and if there is sunshine and if there is trade between the nations, I can imagine that it can do good things for the people. But if there is trouble, if there is wind and bad weather, then you can only go back to your nation, to your own government. They should be responsible for you and for the people who are part of that community. So this is the basic idea. Unfortunately, it's not very trendy or mainstream, right?
We're working on it. We're
working on it, and you know, it's not easy to talk about God and religion because that's a personal matter. But still, we do think that these God and the idea of religion and tradition and the teaching which comes from the Bible through, for example, Christian democratic political philosophy, it has to play a very important role in building a well-functioning society, even in the 21st century.
So I spoke at a couple panels and gave a talk at NatCon last year, and that was one of the main things that came up, that how do you blend, as wokeness sort of infects all of the Western institutions and governments, if the return is to be something of a return with some level of religiosity in it, what do you do about the people outside of that, either the non-believers or the gay people or just anyone that is not within, say, sort of the Christian tradition as you would see it? And I know this is a big debate going on within NatCon right now.
It's a huge debate, but according to our understanding, probably it's different here in the United States or even in Poland, a country which is very close to us in Europe. So we are not focusing on the individual belief of the people, because it's a freedom of decision. If you want to be on board, if you want to take it, if you want to be a believer, if you want to be an active churchgoer, you can do so. You are not allowed to be punished for that. But if you don't want to do it, then it's fine. But the ideas, the political ideas, which are coming from this kind of concept, they are useful. Like you know, family is a basic pillar of society.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about international issues instead of nonstop yelling, check out our international playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out our full episode playlist. They're all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.